Welcome to the channel. I heard that you're having some relationship problems and I'm here to help you. Um, we have Ruby here, my cat, and she might be getting into all this. See, if I move the brush, she tries to grab it. So yeah, she's gonna be doing that. But anyways, so are you having a misunderstanding with your partner? Did you break up? What's going on there? Okay. All right. I see. Well, the thing with relationships is that if you're trying to work this out, but you feel like the other person is not, then that's when it gets really challenging. Because if you're trying to fix things but they don't want to talk to you, then that's when it really gets challenging, because they have to want to put the effort in, and you cannot make them, right? You cannot make them call you, text you, or meet up with you somewhere, right? Like to talk things out, or to, and they also have to be able to listen to you without judging you or without cutting you off, and genuinely sit there and listen to what you have to say and how you feel about it. And then you also have to be able to do the same thing back, because it goes both ways. You may not agree with what he has to say, and same goes for it's both ways, he or she, or whoever they are. But you have to compromise. You have to be able to come to an agreement. Like, I may not like this about you, but can we work on this? Can we meet halfway on this? Can we do better on this, right? Like, for example, maybe you like going out with your friends, and maybe they may not like that, right? Well, no, I don't like when you go out because I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're really going to the location that you say you're going. How do I know you're not lying? And all these things come up, right? So here's the thing. You can't say, I don't want you to be going out no more. And same goes for them, right? Because if you, for example, want to go out, maybe like, hey, I don't want you going out every weekend with your friends, then you can say, well, I think I'm going to work on this, and maybe I can go out every 2 or 3 weeks with them. You kind of have to be also willing to work with this person, and they have to be willing to work with you, because that's the only way this is going to work. You can't have full control here, and they cannot have full control over you, because you don't want that person to be miserable, and you don't want to be miserable, right? Like, for example, they say, no, you must stop going out completely with your friends, otherwise this is never going to work out. Then guess what? You're going to be miserable, because now you're not doing what you want to do. And so you have to be able to you know, meet each other halfway. Say, look, I love, I like going out with my friends. This is something that I want to continue doing. Let's come to an agreement. And I get it, you know, there's people who, let me turn her around here a little bit. There's people who don't want to meet you halfway, right? There's people who is like my way or no way, right? Like it has to be simply my way. And if that's the type of person that they are, you're always going to have problems in the relationship. And if that's you, if you're the one saying no, do it my way at all times, or I'm not going to be happy with you, then same goes, you know, like the relationship is never going to be stable. So you really want to, here's the thing, we cannot change people. They can't change us, we cannot change them. We can talk things out, we can hear each other out, but if you cannot talk things out, if you cannot hear each other out, there's already a problem there. Because if you're both refusing to listen to each other, or one of you guys is not willing to listen to the other person, then that means I don't care how you feel, I don't care about your feelings or your thoughts, I don't want to listen to it. And if you think about it, that sounds very harsh, because how could you not? If you love me, if you want to be in a relationship with me, if you care about me, how could you not care about my opinion, about how I feel about things, right? Like you would want to care, to listen to me, to look at my side of things, right? And if that person doesn't want to do that, then I feel like they cannot possibly care about you enough to want to do that. So if they don't care about you enough to do that, why be with someone like that? You know, of course, you're free to make your own decisions. This is just, I do want to remind you my personal advice. I do want to remind you that you may feel different about what I'm saying to you right now. You may disagree with me. Somebody else might tell you something different. I believe that there's nothing more beautiful in a relationship than when you can talk things out, when you can listen to each other, when you can be like, look, let's work on this together. Because that means I care, they care, right? So we have to care about each other. It's not just about I'm the boss, I have the last word. I don't like this. It doesn't matter what you say or do. I don't care. I'm going to continue to do this. That's not how things work. Because it can be something simple. You know, it can be like, maybe you live together and oh my God, I don't like that you, I don't know, I hear stories about you left the toilet seat up, or you know, you did a peanut butter sandwich and you didn't put away the peanut butter, and you know, it can be just things like that. And I saw an elderly lady, I like the sound of that, but an elderly lady was giving advice to a young couple, and she told them, if you're gonna let little things like I just mentioned, the toilet seat up, or something like, oh, the way you left the shampoo in the shower, or you know, you forgot to take out the trash this morning, or you left the dishes in the sink. If you're gonna let, and of course, I do want to say if this happens here and there, of course, if they just don't care and they keep doing it just because they just don't care, that's a different story. But if something because they're in a hurry, they forgot, then you have to be able to be like, okay, babe, just remember next time and move on. Because why do you want that to break you up? And by going back to the lady that I was telling you about, I think she must have been like in her late 80s, maybe early 90s, and she was giving the couple some advice and pretty much saying, don't let the little things get to you, because we all have things, little things that we can do better on, change, and it goes both ways, right? They can do a little better on this, we can do a little better on this. But if we're going to make this little thing a big deal every single time, then you're just going to be always constantly fighting. You're always going to be, getting into arguments. And so you really have to, I think key to a relationship is communication, is talking things out, listening to each other, and willing to work on those things together. So don't change who you are, but if you think you can do better on something to help this relationship, I say, why not do it? If you really care for this person and you really want this to work out, then yes, I think you should work on it, And when people want their space, you also need to give them that. And they need to give you that. You don't know how many relationships I hear about. And sometimes it's people in my own circle. And by my own circle, I mean like co-workers, right? You overhear things, or so it's not necessarily someone really close to you, but sometimes you're around people and you overhear things. And it's like this, how do I put it? For example, when they are constantly calling, you don't answer, they call you and they call you and they call you and they text you, they blow up your phone. That, you guys, that is toxic. There's no need for that, because clearly they don't want to speak to you. And if you think, well, no, they need to answer, I'm going to keep calling, you're only going to annoy them, and you risk them falling out of love, because, why do you want someone like so, on top of you all the time? And just, that's what I mean about communication. You don't want to be, this person cannot be like, oh, wait, they need their space. But hey, when they calm down, I'm going to be waiting for their call, Or you can just do like one simple text. You don't need to send 20 text messages. It could just be one text, right? If you really want to talk to them, be like, hey, look, I love you. I'm sorry that, we have this misunderstanding going on. But, I just want to let you know that I'm thinking about you. And, whenever you feel ready to talk to me, I'll be here waiting for you. And, just keep it simple. Let them know that you love them, that you're thinking about them. But if you start texting them like, I don't know, start being toxic, right? Like, where are you? Why are you not picking up? You better text me back right now. You start showing attitude. Of course, you're only going to escalate the problem. It's only going to get worse. And it's only going to make them take longer to call you back and to text you back. If you think that's actually going to help the situation, and you're like, okay, once I, start being rude and, making threats, and I'm going to do this if you don't call me, or you're only making it worse. You're only delaying the conversation you want to have with them. So, just take a breather, right? I know we hate waiting, but we're gonna have to be patient, or they will have to be patient with us if we want, um, a little time to ourselves as well. It goes both ways. I'm not just referring to them. It just goes both ways, right? So we have to be able to say, look, I love you. I'm sorry that we had the disagreement. I really will love to talk things out with you. So uh, I'll be here waiting whenever you're ready to talk. And just, keep it simple, keep it straight to the point. And believe it or not, that speaks volumes compared to all those 20 texts. Because trust me, they're just going to run through those texts. And some of them they're probably going to skip because no one has time for that, So don't even bother doing that. And if they're doing that to you, all you need to do is send one text. Don't get in their same energy. Don't start sending 20 messages back. You need to be like, hey, look, we need to take a breather here. Okay, I'm gonna contact you, when things have calmed down a little bit, because we're both, a little toxic right now, or whatever the case is, right? We both need to take a breather and talk when we're a little more calm. So, anyways, there's people talking in the background, so yes. But yes, we have to learn boundaries. We have to learn to respect each other. We have to learn to be able to be like, look, they're not picking up. Okay, let me give them the space they want. Okay, look, I don't like you going out every weekend. Do you think maybe we can come to an agreement here? Maybe every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know, whatever works best for both of you, right? But if you get into the vibe of I don't want you going out at all, it might work temporarily. In the long run, it's not going to. Trust me on that one. So I'm sorry you're going through this problems, disagreements, or breakup. I hope it's temporary for you. I hope that you're able to work things out if you really love this person. And it's getting loud in my house, so I apologize, but I hope things get better. I hope, just remember, communication is key. Be calm, be straight to the point, but always be calm. Always give them the chance to also explain themselves, to express themselves, And yes, I hope this video helps you out a little bit. Even Ruby, look. I don't know if you can see her, but yes, she is sleeping now. So thank you for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, I'll be posting more. So yes, I'll see you in the next video. And remember, patience, love, communication, and have a good day.